And welcome back to episode 14 of the Football Fanatic podcast. I'm your host, Declan O'Connor. With me this week are Howard and Daniel. Daniel, congratulations. You are now a married man. How's it
Yes.
feel?
It feels good. Feels good. Yeah, I am. I'm a bit tired today now after the madness of the weekend, but yeah, it's great. Great weekend. Yeah, thanks very much for the pod's well wishes.
I was going to ask you, Dan. Did you get many predictions at the round tables?
I told a lot of people about it, and I told them, and a few of them actually know Deck, and when they talked about his smugness, that sort of resonated with them, so they're going to get on board. They said so.
Smugness.
Yeah, your smugness, that little smoky little grin you have, like that time a few weeks ago when you were like talking about you don't mind if Man City lose. Remember you were saying like, oh yeah, it's
Yes,
all
I
about the
do.
love
I
of the
remember
game.
it well. I
Oh,
remember it well.
bollocks, 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 bollocks.
I was going to say that Bournemouth result just got rid of everyone
Yeah,
straight away. Like,
Honest to
yeah,
God, it was
yeah, yeah.
surprising.
Hey, I'm telling you, someone will nail him to the cross, and as I said, I'll be there when he's handing over the tickets.
I'm happy though. Look, it doesn't bother me. I hope someone wins because I don't
But
think
some of
they'll
you
win.
don't like as well.
If look, Connor Jordan or something like that, he pissed me off for many years. All right, we'll get started. I'm going to start with the big game of the weekend, obviously, of the game of the season so far. It was Chelsea 4, Manchester City 4. My own thoughts on the game, very entertaining. I thought both defenses were suspect big time. Good attacking football. Cole Palmer really, really impressed. Haaland again just continues to add up his goals. Interesting penalty decision. We'll start with that one. Haaland's penalty decision. I fully agree with Chelsea's penalty decision, but Haaland's penalty decision, Howard, you text the group saying it
yeah,
was a little bit
straight
soft.
away, straight away. I was just like, here we are, City getting like it. We'll get on to a piece about the referees in a bit, but there is certain teams that do seem to get the 50-50s or to get the softer side of things. We might have had that. Was it Akanji or Ake, one of them jumping over the ball a few, the first or third or fourth game week, and people were saying it was clear offside. He was in the goalkeeper's line of vision. Not given was, or sorry, was given as a goal. So like little things like that. There's a history of Rodri handballing the ball when Liverpool were going for the title. I'm sure you remember that one.
Yeah. I'm
Uh,
sorry, I was just
uh,
looking for your message there. I found it. It was don't agree with that penalty. Another soft penalty for City. What a shock. Question mark, question mark.
what a
Smiley
shock!
emoji, tears.
Dan,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
did you think it was a penalty?
I didn't see it when he said the message into it, but I watched the highlights of the game since, and I thought it was soft as well. Yeah. Now I
Yeah.
seen it was a Dermot Gallagher. They were showing a few different views of it there, so I caught a glimpse of that there earlier on today, where Cucurella does hold on to him for longer than Haaland was holding on to him.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
fuck me, he went down
But
like a sack of spuds,
yeah,
didn't he? It was looked soft enough.
but it's
Yeah.
the pull. It's the pull from Haaland that actually like
That's the thing.
he
Like I know
switches people.
Yeah.
I'm a City fan saying this, but like I'll fully agree. Haaland does pull Cucurella's shirt
Yeah, he
first. He
does.
does,
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
100%.
Yeah, and it,
So
and it puts him in that position where he's ahead of him,
yeah,
where Cucurella does take him down. So like the first foul, which yeah, I can understand Anthony Taylor giving it because he looks over when the ball's coming in and Cucurella's taking him down, but he doesn't get to see the
yeah,
first part of it. But VAR does. But VAR doesn't.
call it
Usually
off.
you'd be
Yeah,
like, well, we're gonna interrupt here. We're gonna intervene here because clearly the referee is looking his eye line is somewhere else while that's happening. So I thought it was strange, and maybe they're looking at that foul on Doku. It was not much in it really, but I thought it was a soft one, and I'd say the Chelsea fans were a bit irate when it was given against them.
yeah. No,
And
absolutely. I
and I
suppose.
thought, yeah, I thought it was going one way after that, put it that way.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I agree. And in fairness, like Chelsea, they played very, very well, and it kind of sticks to your comment a few weeks back, Howard, that they're playing very well against the bigger teams.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, in
Whatever
Stamford
it
Bridge,
is,
yeah.
Pochettino seems to be able to kind of get them hyped up for those games. And you'd wonder just what's going on. For example, last weekend, didn't they lose to Brentford 2-0?
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
So, I
So
mean, it's odd, but I mean that game, Dan, you were saying they have a run of games that are very tough. That was one that I think all of us thought the City were going to win, given Chelsea's kind of
And
run of
Spurs
form.
one, and the Spurs one as well. Yeah,
And the
I like
Spurs
that.
one,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I mean, they're starting to click. And actually, I read something online, really interesting as well. Like yesterday in the game they played, there seemed you could see how Pochettino wanted them to play, and they were following through with that. You could see a style of play there. Whereas, and it was kind of in contrast to Ten Hag and United not knowing how they wanted to play, and Ten Hag's been there for a year and a half almost. But I mean, I did see a team there in Chelsea yesterday. Now again, we'll see what happens after the international break. They could go back to. They could
There
go
has
back
been
to.
glimpses of it though, as Howard had said. Like the West Ham first half earlier in the season stood out for me, where they dominated West Ham in the first half. I know they went on to lose the game, but you could see that there was progress there. Like they played better. They deserved to beat Arsenal. And look, they looked quite well outplayed in the opening part of the Spurs game. And look, the red cards and everything changed proceedings there. But there's no doubt that'll do themselves like confidence, no harm. And Jackson on the score sheet again. Sterling was, I thought, very good. I thought yesterday. I thought again he has looked very, very lively, like a fella with a point to prove or something the way he's playing. And his end product would frustrate you if you were, a Chelsea fan, because where he was getting on the end of things in the City team, he's kind of trying to get the ball, take the game, grab by the scruff of the neck and create. But it's not really his game either. He's better running onto stuff and getting on the end of things, like the goal he scored yesterday. But I thought he played well though. His work rate was immense. It's always been immense though with Sterling. In fairness, he's always been a very good worker. It was a crazy game, wasn't it? Crazy.
It was. No, it was a crazy game, and they're calling it like a classic. It was a classic game, but I suppose when I think of classic games, for me, in order to be a classic game, I think that there needs to be a winner. When I think back of Newcastle and Liverpool, those 4-3 games, there was always a winner, and that for me stands out. Like, I mean, I won't remember that in 15, 20 years' time, 4-4, because there wasn't a winner. That's just the way I look at them.
Yeah.
But
I get that.
But it's positive results for Chelsea, though, isn't it? It is like
very
it's positive.
good result.
Yeah, and there was a lot of mistakes in the game though, like Jesus as well. Defensively, there was City very unlike them as well. Ruben Diaz, like at the end, that's he doesn't do that. Like he's usually so composed. But like what was he doing? Like
that actually kind of brings me on to my next point, that City do not like chaos. They don't like chaotic games. They don't like chaotic teams. And Liverpool have done it to them a number of times over the years. Like they've come at them and they've just created chaos. And you've seen all the games over the years, like where, I mean, I think Liverpool scored 3 goals in the space of a couple of minutes. The Real Madrid game, the semi-final, two years ago, literally, I mean, they were through, and then in literally the space of 5 minutes, they were out. Like City need to control. Well, they don't.
I was just gonna say, do you think that teams have each other too much respect? Like allowed them to have the ball, where like Chelsea pressed them really well yesterday, like went at them, and Liverpool usually would try and go at them as well. They wouldn't allow them to just kind of dictate and control the game. So is that what you're kind of saying?
Absolutely. There is a risk, I suppose. City, the majority of games, City will control the possession. Teams will sit off them. But you've seen yesterday what can happen when you do attack City. Like, I mean, it gets them rattled. And I suppose Guardiola is a control freak, and he loves to kind of control and dictate the tempo. And when that's kind of when that's rattled, you've seen what can happen. Like they're vulnerable against an attack. But when teams do go out to attack them, there's always that risk of kind of City getting in behind them. So like if teams do choose to attack City, it's a big risk, but you've seen yesterday it can have a big reward as well. I suppose. Sorry, Howard, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do you think it was in the midfield that Chelsea kind of got to them, because because the likes of Casado, like people were saying, Rodri had that. Well, first of all, when Rodri had that goal, I thought, this is a classic Rodri. There, he's got the 3 points from him again, and even though they got a slice of luck with it, but did you think? I thought maybe him personally didn't actually maybe have the best games, because I think maybe they seem to get at the midfield, Chelsea, Casado and Enzo, and they seem to be able to pass through. Let's say that in between, let's say the midfield and the strikers, that kind of sweet spot. Sterling was coming in, and then he was able to turn and actually run at the defense. Even if you remember Broja's the penalty, like Sterling picked it up in that space. Like you're talking about. there's only 4 or 5 minutes left in the game, and they're allowing Sterling to come into that space and turn and find a pass. It just seemed a bit they seemed a bit all over the place, City, which is so unlike
Unlike
them.
them,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
No, I
Suppose as well,
agree.
I suppose when you look at it as well, like Doku and Foden, if they had De Bruyne or someone that's a lot more kind of solid, all
Yeah.
rounder, and say playing like Silva, in fairness, will work all day. But if you get Silva in one of them further forward positions, they'll be quicker to get back. I think Doku and Foden are a bit more suspect in the maybe in that department as well. Where if you had someone that's more solid inside Rodri, who was a bit more maybe twitched on, you mightn't have been as open as much. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Foden,
No,
I
that's
didn't
a
think.
fair point.
Yeah, like for a team that scored 4 goals, like I didn't really see much of Foden,
He
which I
had one
thought
of
was
his quiet,
unusual.
yeah, he had
You
a
know,
quieter game, absolutely.
for a guy with such
Probably the
such
quiet
talent.
season, really,
Yeah,
does he? Yeah,
A
quiet
little
season.
bit. What did you
Yeah.
think now of Cole Palmer?
yeah. I've seen him a few times now. I watched Chelsea a few times, and he's always stood out to me as probably like at his age nearly their best attacking threat like that they have.
Right.
He's technically very sound on the ball. Like he doesn't lose the ball that often. He's not like he doesn't have electric pace or anything, but his close control and his passing, like even in between the lines, is very impressive.
Yeah.
And like for him to be even given well, we're buying all these players in, but you're going to be the guy taking the penalties. And even was it a Tottenham game, or I can't remember what game it was, but he kind of took the ball off Sterling, and there was a bit of hoo-ha there, but with Enzo, or I can't remember, and they were just like give it to Palmer, and like he's obviously making an impression on the
Yeah.
team as a whole. But I'm very impressed with him, and I think you can say you mightn't have got Doku as a City fan, if you didn't. I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest. I'm not like I think that's maybe an easy kind of route out to say, oh, well, look, we would have Doku because like okay, Doku plays me, but Palmer, he's majority of the time he's out on the right. And like he was right, probably it was a good move for him. Like, and if you look at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, and I heard a few quotes about the interview or him meeting Pep, and he was just like Pep was like, look, you're going to get a chance here. And he was
Mm.
like, "No, I'm leaving. Like like he's like I'm going to be playing 90 minutes every weekend with Chelsea, or I'm getting a game here, a game there.
Yeah.
And no matter who you are at City, you won't be getting constant
Yeah.
minutes all the time. You're not like it's just the way it is.
Well, no, I agree with that, and I suppose that's the way I'm looking at it. That had he not gone, had he not left, I don't think we would have bought Jeremy Doku. And I suppose the impact that Doku has made so far this season in the first 12 games versus what I've seen of Cole Palmer over the last 2 years, I'm still siding towards having Jeremy Doku in the team as
Mm.
opposed to having kept Cole Palmer. I don't think we would have signed Jeremy Doku had Palmer stayed, but I'm happy for him because there is a huge talent there, and I mean, you've seen what he did yesterday. I mean, he kind of got the point for Chelsea. I mean, nerves of steel at the end, taking a penalty. But before that, like I don't know if you see it, he danced his way through our defense. And I mean,
Yeah,
if it
brilliant.
wasn't if it wasn't for a little stumble, like I mean, it would have been a beautiful goal.
Yeah,
You
he
know?
has the talent. Like he could like people. You could say he could have more. He could
Yeah,
hit higher heights than Foden might end up hitting.
absolutely. Yeah, because
At
he
his
is
age.
like,
So
as you said, Howard, he is going to get 90 minutes consistently at Chelsea, where the likes of Haaland and Rodri and Ederson are probably the only players at City that could be considered, in the team most weeks. Kevin De Bruyne when he comes back, etc. But yeah, thought it was a
He's
great,
quality. He is
great
quality.
game. Yeah,
did
he
He
you
is
is.
though.
see?
He is. He is
There was a
quality.
clip going around. I don't know if you've seen it of I suppose it's the Kovacic celebration after the penalty. No, you didn't see that.
I saw
No.
the headline, but I didn't click into it.
Yeah,
What
it
was it?
was funny. I watched it. It's just basically when Palmer took the penalty, like Kovacic went away and he went like this, but I don't know, like he just went this like down by his side, as in like he said yes, goal for for Chelsea. But I think maybe he was getting pissed off or whatever. But it didn't look great. Put it that way.
Doesn't
But
sound. It doesn't sound great.
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
so celebrating.
Listen, we'll move on to another game. Wolves versus Spurs 2-1. So up until the 91st minute, Spurs had this game, but I suppose they are missing a few through injuries and suspension as well. So I mean, a lot of people have said that Spurs they are going to kind of fall off a little bit. Is this the start of it? You think? Are the injuries going to have that much of an impact? Dan, what do you think?
I definitely think in particular the injuries that they've got, because there were two players that we waxed lyrical about over the last couple of weeks that
Yeah,
have been fantastic signings for them. And like their bench isn't great. And we did say that if they get a few injuries, the fact that they can keep them all sound, um, that they were going well, I suppose. Like everything was just going their way, and the confidence is very high. But just looking at their lineup there, like I know your man, the young lad that they bought, he scored. Your man Johnson,
Johnson.
as
Yeah,
well. Yeah, but like when you look at Basuma, Højbjerg, and Sarr in the middle of the field, like there's no creativity in that midfield, really, is
no.
there? Like Madison is the linchpin. The more than I think, to a point, Arsenal Odegaard is that as well. He's that player that can kind of that creative player. Like Madison is massive for them. And then when you're playing Ben Davis alongside Eric Dyer at centre half, it just sounds ugly, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's just not something you'd have an awful lot of faith in. I'm not a big fan of Emerson Royale lad either. I don't think. I
No.
think ever since he came in, I never really thought he was up to much. So I just think they're them few injuries that they got. They're big players for them. You wouldn't mind Richarlison as much getting injured, like but Madison, Son, and then that centre half, you man Van der Ven, like they're ones that I think are very big for them. And look, Wolves again, we talked about them. That Everton, I didn't see the game, so I don't know in regards to what way where Spurs dominated or not. But like Wolves are that kind of team now. I think when they're at home that they
yeah.
can cause trouble. But as I said, I didn't see the game, so maybe Howard, did you? I don't know if you've seen the.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
a look.
Uh,
Have a look at Wolves' first goal. Their
I seen the
equaliser.
no,
Oh,
yeah. I see the goals. All right, Sariba, wasn't it?
Oh, it was
yeah,
serious,
Yeah,
class.
serious
yeah,
goal.
yeah. And I see the goals. All right, and the like there was two really late ones, wasn't it? 91st minute,
Yeah,
98th minute as well. But in
Yeah.
regards to the game, though, I didn't see it. So maybe Howard, what was
Yeah,
the?
no, there was I suppose when we did the pod last week, the Chelsea Spurs game was on while we were doing the pod, so it was kind of we that was like when I tuned in after that and looked at what happened.
I'm
It,
actually delighted we didn't have to review that game because it was just
that
fucking
was
mental.
mental.
You
But like
know?
it was one of them games when you're watching it and you're like, oh, the wheels are coming off for Spurs.
Yeah,
Like it was one of them things you're like, Madison's going off injured. Van der Ven
At the
literally
same
probably,
time.
yeah, probably pulled his hamstring off his bone. It looked
Mm,
really
yeah,
bad. His hamstring tear. And then you had the sending offs for a doggy and Romero, who like what was he doing for that
ridiculous, isn't it?
penalty? Like was insane. Like so it was one of them games. You're like, God, like if they had just lost the game and nothing happened, they would have been
Yeah,
like, grand, let's move. But like I know from even the way Arsenal have gotten to where they've gotten now, like having ball playing defenders, if you're playing in a possession attacking football is everything to to your team. Like you saw what happened to Saliba when he went off last year. Like
yeah,
Van der Ven is
very
even though
good.
he
Like,
just came in, he is the linchpin there at the back. And if they're subbing him out for someone else, it's a
yeah,
massive blow. And then Madison on top of that is again you don't know how long he is an injury prone player,
yeah,
Madison.
it
Like
is.
it's
Yeah,
it's
not something that just come along. And you can even see even when he was injured, he had a strap on his quad. Like he was probably trying to go pull through with all that. But yeah, if they can get back to that, grand. But like they mightn't be back to that for another 3 months with the
yeah.
players that are missing now. Like
Would you
so,
say that week, if you were just to take the last week between the madness with Chelsea against Chelsea, and then what happened in that last 8 minutes, that there was there was remnants of the old Spursy in there, I
yeah.
think, wasn't there somewhere along the lines? No.
Yeah, well, we all
a
saw that
little bit,
picture,
yeah,
that
yeah, a
that that
little.
crazy the picture of the of Ange Ball. We'll have to get Kieran's opinion on.
He'll be on,
We'll,
Kieran will
we'll
be
put
on next week. Don't worry.
yeah, we'll put a big blow up poster of the all the boys in the halfway line, like getting clipped over the top.
It was
Like I don't
mad,
know what
wasn't it?
was
It was
madness.
weird. I've never seen anything like that in the Premier League before. I've seen it in Dutch football from highlights back in the 70s.
But
Where
that's
they
yeah.
played that just what it's not even a high line, but like literally have 7 or 8 players following and trying to tackle the ball. Like it's odd. It's weird.
That's us, mate. Is that's
Yeah.
Ange's response. But like,
Mm.
I'd love to get your idea on it. Like, what do you think on that? Because obviously it's daft from a tactical point of view. But I was listening to a few bits on second captains with Damien Delaney and Damien Delaney and what's his name? Uh, anyway, he was talking to one of the lads, and he was basically saying that. he loved it. Damien Day, like a stalwart defender, loved this idea
Yeah.
of thing. But I think the basis what he was getting at is that he was trying to say to the players that this is the way we are. We're playing this attacking football. We're down to 9 men. Look, we're probably going to lose the game anyway.
Mm.
So it's more important to like tell the players this is their culture now than put everyone behind the ball and try and hold on to a lead. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
more that kind of psychological boost for the players to say this is us now and like we're sticking with it no matter what.
I am of the opinion that like from watching the game though, that fair enough they did manage to create one or two chances. You know, they had a minimal marginal offside, and then was it Bentancur or someone had a shot near the end where they
Yeah.
could have got an equaliser. But if they had it done, what I remember a couple of weeks ago when Liverpool were down to 9 against Spurs, and they just sat
Yeah.
in and they made it extremely difficult, and like fans were on their back and they didn't really know what to do. Like Chelsea actually didn't know what to do. They actually looked like they were completely out of ideas.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if they had have gone that route, would they have been better off, or would they potentially have got something from the game? Because
Yeah.
because it looked like a matter of time where Chelsea all it needs to do is time one of them right. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all it was. And I think it was a Neville, whoever was in commentary said, if you pass it around here, 5 or 6 passes, they'll get one in over the
Yeah.
top line. They'll get in behind. Where I think they would have been better off personally of just gone and block behind the ball, just getting away. Because the crowd were behind them. Like they were, in fairness to Spurs, they were really up for it and they didn't do themselves. They didn't make any injustice, even though it looked bad at the end, the scoreline. But like they were in that game up until near the end. But I think if they had went like what we did to Spurs a couple of weeks ago, they might have been better off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was entertaining. Look, if nothing, I can understand why people loved it because it's new, it's entertaining, but it's like, I mean, as you said, Dan, all it takes is one. Just
With
one
with 9
ball.
men, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one well-timed run and you're done.
Yeah.
And you're not. Yeah.
What David Delaney was kind of getting at was that like you're guaranteed to lose the game at that stage no matter what way you set up. That was his thinking, which I didn't really agree with because like you could hold out if you have a draw like. But his thing was like it's 99.9% chances of losing that game anyway. So why not play that way? That was what he was getting at. I didn't really get on board with that, but
Yeah, not
you know
sure.
what.
Yeah.
You just wonder, I mean, you can't train for that, surely. I don't know, can you? You can't train for that. Yeah, I can't imagine Postecoglou bringing up like a training drill saying, okay, we've had 2 players sent off. We're playing with 9 men, high line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd say he was kind of trying to be innovative and thinking on the spot, but it was a risk. It didn't work. But they gained some kind of a bit of a, what's the word from it?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You lose 4-1 and you're actually people
They came
are
out of it
saying
looking well. Yeah,
yeah.
but
Yeah, they did, but at the same time, you look at the two intended off, and like their Romero, like no doubt, is just a complete head of the ball. Like
yeah,
I don't know, but like in Doggy as well, like it was very, very rush of blood moment. Like, and they wouldn't want to be, I suppose they'd want to be getting brought in and kind of get a bit of a dusting down there and told because they were both madness decisions, like
yeah.
or like both of them. So, but yeah, I don't know. I just think there's a sign there, like that won't have done them any good there now. They're gonna they lost late against Wolves.
Agree, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, we will go through the rest of the results over the weekend. So Palace 2, Everton 3. So Everton look to have hit a bit of form at the moment. So Glenn, if he's listening,
yeah.
watching, he'd be delighted. Villa 3, Fulham 1. Villa are up in fifth and 3 points off top. So I mean, they're looking
13th home
good.
win in a row as well.
If they can sort out their away form, I mean, you don't know how far they can go this season. Brighton 1, Sheffield United 1. Brighton looked to have hit a bit of a bump on the
Yeah.
road. Just a small one, nothing major, but I mean, that's a
Europa
game
League, I think.
I think
Europa
so,
League
yeah.
is
I
having an
think
effect.
Newcastle have kind of have the same as well. Like they've slowly kind of, you can
Oh, we
tell.
haven't talked about the Newcastle game yet, have we? This will be a good one now.
What about them? Go on, go for it.
Well, look, if I didn't have the boys, in my fancy football team, I would have been jumping around the kitchen. But no, I thought Bournemouth thoroughly deserved it. I didn't think
Yeah,
Newcastle showed anything
100%.
really in that game, and I think Longstaff went off again. They're falling like flies. But I
That's the
suppose
They are,
dream.
yeah.
when
The
you
whole
play, yeah,
Europe Premier League thing is catching
but
them
you have to
outright
remember
now.
as I said last week, they do play a physical on the edge game, and that can have impact on your body as well. So and look, Ivan Livramento looks good, but you're switching Trippier over to left back then, and you're kind of making him maybe not as useful as he would have been. So
What did you make actually of Trippier going over to the
fan.
fan after the game and kind of giving out to him?
Yeah, I saw the headlines on that. Look, I think he was getting at the fact that they have so many injuries and the fans were getting at, like I can understand where Trippier's coming from because like look at where Newcastle is in comparison to where it was fucking a few years ago under Steve Bruce. So I
Big
think
Bruce.
you remember Brucey. So like
They're
in
missing their
fact,
two strikers though, aren't they? Like in fairness,
Yeah.
like they're missing a lot of key players. Some of them, fair enough, they are missing a lot of key ones as well.
No,
So
they are 100%. Like they have a big injury list as well, and I mean, the whole European thing, it is costing them in the league at the moment. Likewise with Brighton, it's just results aren't going what we would have expected them to have gone.
no.
So Europe clearly does have a toll, and that's where it comes back to having quality on your bench to be able to kind of rotate and bring on, etc. But yeah, West Ham 3, not Forest 2, so that will shut up the Moyes out brigade hopefully for a little bit.
aren't they just
And
brilliant from set pieces under Moyes though, aren't they? It's just they always
James Ward-Prowse.
yeah, he got 2 assists, but just in general, they always seem to like nick
Yeah.
goals from set pieces. They just always seem to have been really good under
Yeah.
Moyes, and Ward-Prowse got 2, and Owen again as well. Like he's just quality.
He's
Like
class,
Kesha,
isn't he? He had a weird season
yeah,
last season, kind of went off form, and now he's back to
yeah,
his best
well,
again. And they have an easy run now in the next few fixtures, so
2,
Um,
yeah.
they're looking well, West Ham.
It'll be interesting to see if Bowen does stay because I
Mm.
know what I like. He is very good, and no disrespect to West Ham, but I think he does have another level.
And Paqueta,
Um, and Bacetta as well,
yeah.
absolutely.
Mm.
All right, Man United 1, Luton 0. Newcastle, yeah, Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0. Arsenal 3, Burnley 1, and Liverpool 3, Brentford 0. For your two teams, man, did anything stand out for you?
The
Been
Arsenal
fairly
game.
straightforward
Yeah, the
victory.
Arsenal game was just it was a straightforward performance because Burnley didn't pull up any trees. Let me see, Fabio Vieira got sent off for a stupid tackle. Havertz again was pulled after 70 minutes. No, look, there was nothing weird. Look, Arsenal have a good few injuries as well themselves. Like they haven't had that team that like they haven't been hitting the heights last year, but they're only 2 points behind where they were last year. And like they haven't had Party for the whole season so far, and he was a linchpin last year. And they don't have any Xhaka obviously, and they haven't had Jesus. They've had Jesus for like a couple
Zeus
of
is a
games.
crock, isn't he? Fuck me.
Yeah, so like so like if they have a second half of the season where they can get like the likes of Party and Jesus and Rice all on the same pitch with Odegaard, like it is a team there if they can get them for a long stint of time on the pitch together that they can do damage. So let's see. And Yuri and Timber, like yeah, they haven't had him obviously all the season, so they've been a bit unlucky. Look, everyone has injuries, but I think that's the reason why they haven't been hitting the heights is just that they don't have the personnel on the pitch, I suppose, to one thing I would say is Trossard's been quality
Very
signing
good.
for Arsenal.
Yeah,
Quality
quality,
signing.
yeah.
He's been it's like something like 19 or 20 goals and assists since they got him last year. Like and you
It's
compare that
tidy.
to, yeah, you compare that to the Mudryk stats. I know Mudryk is obviously younger, but you compare that to his stats. Like they did get a bargain in that deal. Like so, yeah,
But you
he's
still think Howard though, like if Jesus is obviously a crock, last season was the same. He just seems to
yeah,
pick up fucking
you need a
injuries,
striker.
hamstrings or
Yeah.
bits and pieces. But like, can you win the league this season though with him in and out of the team and then
Mm.
banking on the Ketia up front? Like
Look, I think Enhedia, I think he's
to win
all
a
right,
league,
but
like
not a chance. Like no, not a chance. Like I'd have 100% Trossard playing in that, or Martinelli even playing down the middle ahead of Nketiah. And like you see Martinelli's numbers this year, he doesn't play well with Nketiah up top. Just the style of attacker that he is, the style of nine that he is. So I would have Trossard in there 100% all the time. But again, is Trossard going to win the league center playing center forward?
no,
He's
I don't
not
think
like
so.
either. So they need to either get Jesus fit for the second half season, which is a flip of a coin, or you go and buy someone in January. But I don't know if they have the resources to be honest to
Like
fork it out. So
I look at their team. I was like, if Liverpool had Rice and Saliba, in our team, we win the league. I think
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I give us
Yeah.
Nunes. Give us Nunes. We fucking
Oh yeah, honestly, yeah. I think if you
he'd
even
be
got Nunes or
perfect for yeah,
Jota, like or any, if he had I suppose a player who was going to get you 15, 20 goals, and it was going to be, he can play across the three as well.
yeah.
Like Jota just went on to Liverpool there, like was immense at the weekend. He was excellent. We were shambolic in Europe during the week, like it was terrible. So it was good to see that the work rate was back. And again, though, we give up a lot of chances. Fuck me, like Allison, we're just lucky that we're probably the best keeper in the league because again, he makes vital stops in games. And yeah, Jota again was immense. And I think the Nunes Salah partnership this season as well is probably
Very
one of the
good.
standout ones. Yeah,
Mm.
I think they're really on the same wavelength as well. So, but we just give up too many chances. To give up a good two again against
Yeah,
Brentford.
I was thinking the the Brentford aren't any pushovers. Like even if
Or not.
if you play them at
Oh,
home or away, like and there was a time there at 1-0 where the Endo tackle. Like I thought it
Mm,
was probably like the look. I was looking back and forth to the screen, and Jesus, it felt like an age that they were looking at it. I was like,
yeah.
are they going to send him off? And then I was making dinner, and I was like, oh, maybe they won't send him off. And then I looked, and eventually just play on. But like it was a kind of it was a strange one. I thought like it was high, but it was because it
Did,
was probably on the ground. Like he was okay with it. Like
yeah. Did you see the one during the week? He definitely should have been sent off one against
yeah,
Toulouse. No, like that one
absolutely.
against Toulouse was like a stonewall red
Was
card.
it?
And then he didn't get a red for that. And then a few minutes later, he absolutely poleaxed the fella and should have got a second yellow and didn't either. So, so when I just compare, I suppose that one on Thursday was a stonewall red. Where I thought the one again, as you said there, they were all kind of going in. They were quite low, and I think it wasn't. It wasn't. I suppose it didn't look like it was aggressive, but there was an intent in it. And I think
Mm.
that's why he got away with it. But like he'd want to watch himself because that's now two, again, suspect ones. He definitely should have been sent off on Thursday. Look, to be honest, he looks though, and he looks for me in the games that I've seen. Again, a lot of them would be more Europa League and that as well. But there's a part of me I start to feel like maybe he looks better than McAllister in that position.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know. I'm still not convinced on him either. But anyway, yeah.
I suppose. Look, always say is that we have a title race anyway, and there's
Absolutely, yeah.
it's fairly condensed there up at the top.
Mm.
And
It's
it'll
brilliant.
be
I mean,
interesting. Yeah.
City, yeah, like the three of our teams, literally 28, 27, 26. So
Mm.
it's a proper, it's a third of the season is kind of, we're well into it now. So, I mean, absolutely, there's some really good games over the Christmas period. Liverpool have some brilliant games over the Christmas period. I think they've Arsenal, Chelsea, one after the other.
Oh,
Unite. I think it's United, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Oh, sorry.
oh,
Is it?
shit.
No
No,
way.
sorry, it's United. It's United, Arsenal. Anyway, I think it's United. Then we play Arsenal. Yeah, I think
We have
so.
our, what do you call it? City have over the Christmas, we have the Club World Cup to look forward to. So,
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, that's all over the Christmas period, is it? Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, another weekend, some good games, some great goals, and we'll move on. Well, Howard, this is your time. Introduce us to this segment.
Yeah, I know. I suppose with Dan having a wedding, yeah, Deck reached out for me to pull one out of the bag here. So I suppose with my ranting about the Newcastle game last week, with my Twitter feed going mad, I kind of came across a few interesting threads about referees and the VAR situation, and I suppose the main point out of it was just the refereeing abroad and the managers actually reffing abroad. So I'm going to do like a hypothetical story here and see how you think, right? So, Deck,
Uh,
you were an ex-ref, weren't you? You used to do a bit of refing. So
yeah,
just
that was
just
very good, rap.
just imagine, right? You're living outside Greater Manchester there. You're in squats there with Anthony Taylor, the two of you are you're in the Premier League school or whatever it is. So anyway,
Yeah,
look, you're an up and coming Premier League referee, and Dan at the bottom of the screen, Dan, you're a sheik over in Saudi Arabia, worth hundreds of billions, and you run the country over there. Okay, so this is the story, right? So, Deck, you're doing a great job, reffing away in the Premier League, and you have the likes of Dan coming over, buying the likes of maybe Newcastle or whoever. Just say it was Newcastle, right? And you have Anthony Taylor, your mate, or Michael Oliver, your mate, going over to Saudi Arabia, picking up a few dollars. So you're making roughly, and these are rough numbers. You're making maybe in the Premier League €1,000, €1,500 a match for
yeah,
reffing a game. over in Saudi Arabia, you'd be getting about 10 grand for a game, right? So that's just a
Okay.
once-off game, right? Um, so you're doing all right. The next thing is that you're asked to go over and ref a game over in Saudi Arabia. Dan said, look, come over, fly you over, stay in the hotels, whatever. And that's grand. So you're reffing Cristiano Ronaldo and the boys or whatever, and you fly back the next day and you get your 10 grand and you're just like, this is great, right? And you come back and you're reffing your €1,000 a game over in the Premier League, and you're let's say you're reffing Newcastle there, I say, and you're up. Dan is up in the crowd, looking down, like saying, "Geez, there's your man. Yeah, I got him over there last week to ref the game. Oh, he's a good ref. He's a good ref." Now, let's say you made a controversial decision, or you saw like a 50-50 challenge, or you saw the ball maybe over the line, like the Andy Gordon thing, or you saw the ball or Gabriel getting pushed. There is, and this has always been true for all refereeing, there is an unconscious biasness in
Of
reffing. You know
course.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you were getting employed by another employer who's paying 10 times the amount that you're paying when you're actually reffing the game there, you're thinking, well, if I make a howler here, or if I actually go on the side of maybe the opposition to Dan's team, I could actually end up not getting called back over to
Yeah.
ref there. And that in
Okay.
itself, that's not. I'm not talking about corruption or people getting money into the pockets or anything like that. I'm just saying that if you have an unconscious biasness towards, favoritism towards a team because it's going to benefit you lawfully and rightfully,
And you
it,
love
it can.
money.
Yeah, and you love money. It can influence your overall thinking
Of
and
course.
biasness in it, and that's why I suppose the whole thing is like the first step that the lads should take. Howard Webb actually set up the PGA MOL equivalent over in Saudi Arabia a few years back. But what they need to do is stop people going there. Stop refs
Yeah.
going there. You can't be refing over in UAE, in Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. It'd be grand like if there was no clubs owned by the states over there. It would be
Yeah.
fine, but that's not the case. There's no that isn't the case
So
in
how
the
does it
Premier
work,
League.
Howard? Like is it are they freelancing, or
Yeah,
how is that whole thing work?
so there's a couple of things. So they basically get paid per game. Like so, Mike Oliver went over like 2 months ago. Like that Darren England went over to UAE to
Hmm.
a Dubai game with Dan Cook. They got paid per game. Now, what will happen? What might happen in the future, and what happened to likes of Howard Webb and Clattenburg is they'll go over annually for they'll leave their position in the Premier League. If you're thinking, okay, well I had a good career in Premier League. I'm sick of all the fucking media shite about me all the time. I'm going to head over. And Mark Clattenburg, when he went over in 2017, he was making 500 grand a year, like,
Wow.
which is it's huge money. Like you're talking
Hmm.
about 40 grand that you might get for being a Premier League ref over a season to going to 500 grand. So
Yeah.
like that if you're even doing a few freelancing, but you're not like right, I might take the offer. Like there could be an offer there in the future for you. If you rub the right backs, let's say, or if you
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
so
Are there many, do we know, like, are there many Premier League refs that are refing over there, like freelance and stuff?
So there's Darren England, Dan Cook, Mike Oliver, Simon Bennett,
Oh,
um, Bert, some is it Owen Bert? There's a
Bert.
few, yeah, there's about maybe seven or eight that are over there.
Okay.
Now it's not all the
And
time, like it's not all the time, it might be midweek. So you have the effect of like right flying over, like the crack with the Louise goal. People were saying, oh, he was over
Hmm.
with in Dubai or Abu
I
Dhabi or wherever it
remember.
was. Like that's grand, but they were kind of complaining, well, you're on a flight for whatever, 10 hours or 8 hours or whatever it is to get over there
Hmm.
and you're flying back and you're refing a game Saturday morning or whatever it was, or Saturday night.
It's kind of like
So
it's all grand until someone fucks up, and then like
Yeah.
that will kind of that will then come as a question over it. But there is like an ethical thing there, isn't there? Howard, around as you
yeah, it's
said
a
there, like
conflict of interest is
it
like
is, yeah,
the
yeah.
kind of key thing. And like, like with football and with even, like City, the way they're dominated in the last while, like it is fine margins in games that win you games. Like, like it's like was the ball over line, was it not? There's an extra 3 points or you don't get the 3 points. And like them fine margins are like we all thought like Gabrielle was pushing the back. Some maybe 9 out of 10 people would think, but that one other person might say no, it's not, and they might be in their right to say no, it's not because they didn't think it was from their aspect.
Can I
But
ask a question? Sorry,
yeah,
but
go for it.
were any of the refs on that Arsenal
There
Newcastle
was
game?
the
Was there any
assistant
of the any of
VAR.
them? Any of them?
The assistant VAR was over in Saudi Arabia the week before.
Oh
So,
no!
but that's it was Andy
How
Madley who was on the VAR at that time, but it was his assistant VAR that was over there.
how far did you have to dig to get this info, Howard?
Not that far, not that far. No, it
Okay.
was. Look, it's interesting.
It's
Like
very no, it is very
It is,
interesting. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
there
it's
is an
interesting.
and
absolute
it's not a corruption thing. It's not
no.
like they're getting money into their back pockets for making any decisions. It's more of a biasness towards
Well, there
teams.
is
Yeah,
100%. There's a bias. I mean, what's you call it? Like referees, there's a conflict of interest there. For example, if any of those referees who referee in the Saudi Arabia League were to referee a Newcastle game, it's an automatic conflict of interest because Saudi Arabia own Newcastle. So I mean,
yeah. It's the
like,
same. Yeah, we'll get into the loan thing in a second, but it was funny that United. I was looking at a clip of Gary Neville but Dave Beckham back in the day giving out stink to the referee, like literally run over and shouting abuse at him. And it was like the first time they conceded a penalty in like 4 years at Old Trafford. Like, and this was this was the abuse that they're getting. You know, the United conceded, as I saw, United conceded no penalties in 10 years. Like they gave up 3 penalties in 10 years, but they didn't concede in 10 years from the penalty spot at Old Trafford, which is a mad
Wow,
stat. But I suppose what I'm
that's
getting
mad.
at there is that's the Fergie
yeah,
influence
yeah.
that he had on referees, and just showing that there is a biasness of referee because he knows he's going to get an awful bollock, and if he doesn't make the right decision here and even in that hostile environment. So I suppose it's
And
just
he is, and as you said there, Howard, like their referees are going to be walking down the road. Like there's Man United fans, they're not just in Manchester. Do you know what I mean? As in,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
there is that kind of element of it. Now, look, the game that we're getting into, but there is that kind of element of certain fans are more volatile than others, as we know,
100%, yeah.
as well. Interesting, yeah.
There's just another kind of arm to this kind of debate as well, I suppose, where it brought in like the bias that referees might have. I mean, referees, a lot of them are also football fans who support football
Yes,
clubs.
yes.
And this is just an interesting one. I'm just after thinking about now. Say like the Premier League, you would presume do background checks into the teams that referees support. But I mean, I've never heard of it. I'm just presuming that they do.
Mike Oliver is a Newcastle fan and he can't referee Newcastle games.
He can't. No.
No, no, there's a photo of him in the pub with a Newcastle jersey on. He's not able to. I think he's admitted that he supports Newcastle, which is
Howard, with your list, you won't be able to ref any games in the Premier League.
Honest to God, man.
100%. Yeah, yeah.
But I
No,
mean, there's something there because I mean, they're football fans as well as referees, and I mean, they have, I suppose, an affinity or a loyalty to a certain club, and I
yeah,
mean, depending on where that club is in a particular league, and if a match is kind of really important match and they're assigned that match, it might not have anything to do with their specific team, but the result could have an impact on
yeah.
their team.
And even it mightn't even be you follow the team, but you kind of like reffing them because the
Yeah,
captain is sound, or you always hear this thing about like it's better to have an English captain in your team, or a player who's English,
yeah.
because he's the guy talking to the referee and he'll build up more of a rapport with him in
I,
that
I,
aspect.
I'll give you, and you laugh at this, right? I did referee 100%. I refereed like for a couple of years junior football, and I would be Hudson Bay Football Club were my kind of home team, and I played for them for years, and I was given loads of kind of Hudson Bay football games to referee, and like I always kind of call it down the line, but there is the bias there. Like you grew up playing for the team, you want to see them do well. So I mean, it absolutely exists, 100%.
Who did you fuck over though? Because there must be there has to be some reason why you have to move to Spittle. Who did you fuck over?
Howard, you had something else you wanted to bring up about the
Yeah.
Can I say though as well? It's interesting. Howard said there and the Premier League, but also the bar teams. I think it must be hard because there's a good few of them involved now of a game to try and then work out that none of them have an affiliation regards their football. Who they support because like you're saying Michael Oliver can't Newcastle, like you could have 3 or 4 in the bar room that support
course.
certain. So like there must be a
Yeah.
big process in working out how you kind of get the most unbiased group of officials to a Premier League game.
Yeah, look, I'd say, look, it's very difficult. You can't really, like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's just something there that, like, yeah, you can't really avoid it. But
No.
it's just, you got to take away something like that they call it moonlighting, that moving to over to Saudi Arabia and doing a bit of, freelancing over there, like that's something that they can just say straight away, nip that in the bud. If you're going to go over there, lads, you're not reffing in the Premier League. Like,
Mm.
it's as simple as that. Like,
Why do they call it moonlight?
I don't know why to call it moonlight. I just that was on the Twitter thread I saw.
All right, interesting. Fair enough.
But
No,
no,
very interesting.
just on the other thing we said we might discuss was the loans, because I think it is topical now, and it is it ties into that conflict of interest that we're talking about. Like this crack of I think that the Premier League are going to basically
Ban
have
it.
a vote. Yeah, they're gonna have a vote. I think it has to be 14 out of the 20 teams have to vote for it. So basically, they want to ban, let's say, the likes of Ruben Neves going to Newcastle because of the conflict of interest. And I think, look, that is fair, like, because like otherwise it's kind of a bit of a joke. Like, we can't do financial fair play, so we're going to get them to give him Ruben Neves, and then we'll just take it off them. Like,
And
so
what's their season? What's it again? Their season. How does that work? So come January, the likes of Ruben Neves or Ronaldo or all these guys, there
could
is
leave, yeah.
but is it a break or is it their season over?
No, I
No,
don't think so. No, the season's not over. No,
just
no.
a break,
That's
like
just,
the break for the month, is it?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
think they have a window as well, as far as I know.
so it's just a case of Neves being loaned out and kind of saying piss off to the team in Saudi Arabia. He's going to Newcastle.
Oh, okay. Just see, like you were talking about loan for 6 months, it's not for a month, or a month or
Yeah,
two. It's six
no,
months, is
no,
it?
it'll just be for the end of the
Yeah.
season. Like, I think because they're struggling with injuries. So, like, and Ruben
All
Neves
right.
be like, Grant, look, I go to Newcastle, play Champions League.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a win-win for him, and he's still on his salary that he's probably getting paid by the
Yeah.
Saudi club anyway. So Newcastle don't have to pay any of that. So
It's an
Yeah,
odd one. Like
yeah.
it opens up a lot of floodgates, doesn't it? Definitely. If one happens, I mean, they'll need to kind of nip down the bud very, very quickly. The 14 teams will have to vote that out.
yeah, so we'll see what
You
happens.
know.
I think that's in January. So look, that's the kind of the gist of it. I have a few other bits. If you want me to mention a few bits, the
Yeah,
Deserby.
go for it.
I was just talking about the Deserby thing. I don't know if you saw that. He came out saying that
Yeah,
he dislikes 80% of the Premier League referees,
yeah.
which I thought was
That's fair enough. I mean, he's entitled to his opinion. He'll probably get fined for saying that or
yeah.
something.
And you were just mentioning the refs as well, that they might follow a team. I don't know if you remember that clip of Mike Dean, Spurs
Tranmere
against
Rovers.
Spurs against Arsenal, and he's literally trying to see if the ball is over the line, but also jumping and like running in the direction, like nearly
Yeah.
celebrating. He's like celebrating down the line with the Alan Shearer hand up, like.
I remember saying that. I mean, yeah, like one could say it's celebrating, one could say
Yeah.
it's just a different move,
Excite,
but
yeah.
it
No, but
does.
I just thought it was
Yeah.
funny when you mentioned you could have you could be following teams secretly.
No,
Um,
I'll be honest as well. Like, right again, when I was refing, and if I saw, and again, not through it like kind of any team I was affiliated to, if I saw a brilliant goal scored, I'd kind of like go like, yes,
like
what a goal,
Kovacic
like,
there, like, you know.
If can
yeah,
I just put out there, if there is anybody listening to the podcast that has been done by a Deco Connor referee decision, please get in contact with the show. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
stop. But yeah, but again, it comes back to their football. They love football at the end of the day, and I mean, you can't take emotion out of the game, no matter
No,
what you do. You don't
no.
want to,
Yeah,
you know.
there was interesting. There was a guy on St. Capital's, an Irish, I think, a League of Ireland player, and I think maybe he was playing in Europe, and he mentioned Howard Webb was ref in the game, and he got fouled or something, but the Howard Webb didn't give it, and he said Howard Webb was brilliant because I complained to him, and he said, yeah, he's like, how's that not a foul? And Howard was like, oh look, sorry, maybe I missed it. If there's another 50-50, I'll give it your way next time. That's what he said. So that's kind of
Mm,
an interesting take on what referees say to players when they're actually on the pitch. Like, you know,
yeah,
some of them are a bit more approachable than others, but
absolutely. And refs do try to even it up. Again, like
100%, yeah.
trust
If
me,
there's
the
a red
trust that.
card
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're like hoping, you're basically, if you put any foot wrong, the other team puts any foot wrong, he could send
Yeah.
you off then, like, you know what I mean?
Trust me, and I'm speaking from experience again. Like, if you make a shit decision for one team, you're going to make it up to them by making a shit decision for the other team. Trust me.
You think about it as well, though, like you were talking about Fergie, but also remember under Chelsea, particularly under Mourinho, like they were volatile with refs.
Oh,
They
stop!
used to be
Yeah,
on top.
in your face.
Terry Drogba, them lads used to be on top of referees, didn't they? They really did.
Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd hate.
Very good. No, Howard, that was actually really interesting.
Yeah.
If anyone listening or watching has any feedback or would like to comment, please do on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We'd love to hear your feedback on that. What you think of referees being allowed to referee in the Saudi Arabian League, the whole idea of loaning players from Saudi Arabia to Newcastle, etc. Love to hear what you think. So now we'll go on to next weekend's predictions. So unfortunately, we're back in another international break. Thankfully, it's the last one of the year. I don't particularly have much interest in it, but we will try and have a bit of crack with it. 3 games we've picked this week are France and Gibraltar, Belgium and Azerbaijan, and then my favorite one, Liechtenstein versus Luxembourg. So that's where the money is on that one. So again, if you are able to predict the 3 correct scores, you will win 2 match tickets to a Premier League to a Premier League team of your choice. So, France and Gibraltar. Dan.
Will you go to Howard there? My phone is frozen.
No worries, Howard
there first.
France and Gibraltar. God, I really want to back the underdog in this one.
Jesus Christ.
After the Bournemouth Newcastle result, once Gibraltar get a result here, that's everyone's predictions down the drain. I'm going to go for 4-0. 4-0 France. I don't know what it is. My gut is just telling me that France are just going to edge it, I think.
Just. What's got it down? What do you think?
I've gone for 6-0 France, but I actually think it wouldn't surprise me if it was double figures.
6-0. So I'm definitely not. They're not going to score. Realistically, they're not going to score at all. It's just how many France are going to get. So, France are qualified, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So, I'll go for 3-0. Just to be different.
It's just the France, even if they rotate, like their squad is so strong. And Gibraltar,
it's ridiculous. The depth.
Like the lads that are plumbers or fucking, like it's men against boys, like it really is. I actually, I was nearly going to go for a 10-0. I'm not even messing. But I just think that's me. Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me 10-0. So I have 6-0. Yeah.
All right. Belgium and Azerbaijan. Dan, what do you think of this one?
I'm going for 4-0 Belgium.
4-0.
Yeah.
I'd love to wonder, who actually, and I know nothing about Gibraltar or Azerbaijan, but, who would be the better team? Just thinking out loud, who would be stronger?
Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan. Much better. Oh, yeah.
All right. Liechtenstein and Luxembourg and Azerbaijan. Who's the stronger of those two?
Azerbaijan, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
What do you know about Azerbaijan?
Oh, 100%. No, honestly, Liechtenstein have haven't won. I haven't got a point or haven't got a positive result in 22 matches. They've lost all of them.
I thought you were about to say 22 years.
They're atrocious. So has Howard given his result for Belgium?
No, 3-0 Belgium. I have.
Yeah.
3-0 Belgium. Based on Dan's feedback here, I'm gonna go for Belgium 3, Azerbaijan 1. Okay. Dan, why are Azerbaijan okay?
No, just
okay?
No, it's not that they're okay. They're shite as well, but they're better than Gibraltar or Liechtenstein.
What about Luxembourg?
Well, Luxembourg beat Ireland. Luxembourg wouldn't be great, but they beat Ireland. Not that.
That was very bad. Yeah.
Luxembourg will be poor as well, but when they're playing Liechtenstein, I've gone for 3-0 Luxembourg.
3-0 Luxembourg.
Jeez, are Liechtenstein that bad, Dan? I didn't know they were that bad.
Oh man, honestly, I looked them up. I think it was a 20. It's when I seen the game, I laughed because Deck loves to put in a slimy one because he's like that carny. One of them carnies at the carnival, you get to put the ring toss, and he knows he's sitting there going, yeah, there's no way that's ever gonna get anyone right. So he picked a slimy, sneaky game, didn't he? In that one. So I looked it up, and I think it was 21 games. The last time they got a draw was back in 2021.
Oh god.
Liechtenstein. Yes.
Their goalkeeper is 57.
Anyway, yeah, they won't be
Oh,
they won't
very
be winning.
good. Fuck's sake. Liechtenstein and Luxembourg. All right. Dan, 3-0 to Luxembourg. Howard?
I actually, I reversed my result after hearing the Liechtenstein business. I'm going to go for 2-1 Luxembourg.
Howard, I just had a look there. Gibraltar played a friendly match against Liechtenstein and Gibraltar won 2-0.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
wait.
These are not lads to be getting to be expecting anything from. And I know in our look now, Liechtenstein will win 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're influencing the masses here now, Dan, for the following week.
Liechtenstein and Luxembourg. I will go 2-2. See what happens. Again, make 3 predictions. If they're correct, I'll be giving you 2 match tickets to a Premier League game of your choice. So again, please do send them in. We got a good few entries in this past week. Nobody won them, obviously, but there were a few. That got 1. Nobody got 2 or 3, obviously. So
did you put Liechtenstein down to score a goal?
Say that again.
You went for 2-2, did you?
Yeah, 2-2.
So Liechtenstein haven't scored a goal in the last 12 matches.
Yeah, I know, but records are meant to be broken.
Yeah. Anyway,
2 goals though might be a bit.
Fuck it. So I'm going to change my things. Hold on.
Hang on, I'm looking here. So hang on. So and what I'm looking at right here in front of me now, it only goes back as far as 2020. Liechtenstein haven't scored more than 1 goal.
Okay. All right, I'm changing it. So Luxembourg, instead of 2-2, I'm changing it. Luxembourg 2, Liechtenstein 0.
Oh, right. Yeah, I've actually,
What a game.
The 3 of us would tog out for fucking Liechtenstein by the sound of it.
100%. And we do a half decent job. Out of curiosity, I'm not trying to catch you out. But do any of us 3 know a player for Gibraltar, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, or Azerbaijan?
But that 57-year-old goalie, is that not? What's his name, Deck?
John Palmer or something like that. I don't know what his name is.
No, I can't say it.
I can't think of one. No.
That's okay. I was just curious.
Just clicking in here to see Azerbaijan just to see is there I think there might be someone that we do know that plays for them actually. I'm just looking, I can't think of his name though.
We don't know anybody who plays for Azerbaijan.
I'm looking here now just to see. Yeah, no, there's nobody there that stands out to me now. No.
We'll have to do our research for the next international break.
Yeah. Or you have to think maybe teams that we know a bit more about.
Yeah. Stop being a fucking carny there, huh? Fucking Dublin circus.
Ring toss. Okay. We'll move on. Fantasy football. Dan, you have made a move.
Let me get the fantasy up here now.
Serious moves up.
I had a good I did. I had a good week. I made good transfers. I think they were good. I took out Madison because obviously he's injured and put in Bowen. I took out Alvarez, actually put in Nunes. That was kind of much of a muchness. Captain Salah. Yeah, but kind of put in a few. Tsimikas, the Greek Scouser, got 15 points. That was funny actually because I've seen a few people's teams they've taken him out because he has been rotated a bit with Gomez in the last few weeks as well. But he got 2 assists there, so I got 98 points and I had a -4, so 94. Yeah, and I have to give a big shout out here now to my cousin Claire who used her bench boost, which means that basically anyone that was on your bench gets 2 points as well. You can use it once in the season. And she had Ward-Prowse and Pedro Porro on her bench. But she ended up with 115 points for the week and is now top of the leaderboard.
Top of the table. Good woman.
Yeah. So fair play to Claire, living down in Carlo. She had a real monster suite there. Salah, Alan Alvarez, Saliba, Tsimikas got 15 points, which is massive, especially for a player who's in regards value in fantasy football, he's worth very little.
I got him in as well, actually. Dan,
yeah. And Ward-Prowse there then on the bench with 11. So Andrew Curley had a great week as well. He got 100 points as well. There was a few big scorers in fairness now this week, and I'm up to 5th. Howard he didn't score badly. He got 70 points. But
everyone seemed to do very well this week. Kind of Salah. I didn't have when I saw Salah scoring a few goals. I was like, fuck. I wasn't.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at like Diaz played during the week. He played 90 minutes, so probably the
Yeah,
writing was on the wall.
yeah,
He probably
stupid
might
happening.
start.
I get rid of him now.
And you captain Haaland. Yeah, you went for
Yeah,
Haaland as
yeah, yeah.
captain.
He saved my bacon again.
Yeah, you still have no Salah though, which I did say to you. That could
Yeah,
be an issue you're having there.
I have a few in the bank now, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
save up for a Mo Salah. So hopefully,
What do you
yeah.
mean what do you mean you have a few in the bank?
so you can like you
He was
can
on to his Saudi mates a few extra bob
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you can basically you can sell your players like and buy in cheaper players, and then you have more money in your in the bank saved in. So then if you want to try and fork out for a Mo Salah, you might be able to afford one. Not sure if I will
Okay,
be, but
fair enough.
that's the kind of
I'm new to this fantasy football
Yeah,
stuff.
just get a shout out. I was looking at that. We give a shout out as well to we've three. We have Claire 115 with Friday Night Lights. We have Curly Whirlies, Andrew Curly with 100 points. I had 90. I'm just looking down here now. And Shane Durkin, Aldi's best, hit 100 as well. So
Very good.
they are monstrous weeks now, in fairness. Yeah.
Dan, are you ahead of your brother, or is it your brother ahead of you?
Yeah, he's had a couple of shocking weeks. He actually had Simicast on his bench, and he has left 15 points sitting on his bench, which is not ideal. And he's left Bruno Fernandes in. I know he scored was it last week, but he's left him in for an awful long time. I think
yeah.
he's been talking about taking him out and been leaving him in, but I reckon now Bruno will be dust for him next week. Yeah, but I am ahead of him now at the moment, and long may that continue.
Fair enough. Okay, we'll move on to our final segment. So Monksland United. Fixture with the B team was called off this weekend due to a waterlogged pitch. The fixture is next weekend, Monksland A versus Clara Town in Cushla on Sunday. Mount Mellick versus Monksland B in Mount Mellick. Both games on Sunday. Monksland A are at 11, Monksland B are at 2 o'clock. As far as I know, I might be stand corrected for that one. Last man standing. So there were 6 last week. Two people fell this weekend over Brighton, so there are 4 left. So Jack Gaillard,
wow.
Nolly McGee are gone. So left is Earl Gaillard, John Shine, Larkin Shine, and Sarah O'Sullivan.
Come on, Sarah.
Go on, Sarah.
Sarah. Oh.
So 4 people left, €500 up for grabs. Howard, you thought that Jack and Earl Gaillard were kind of in cahoots.
In cahoots. One's dropped out, was it?
Yeah, one of them's gone, so clearly they weren't.
What's the Brighton is a funny one. Like you if you had Brighton, you would have definitely picked them this weekend, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So,
you'd reckon there mustn't be how many weeks are the into that now? Like there can't be too many teams left that are in any way good. Yeah, that they can have left this stage.
It'd be interesting. They are posting like kind of the picks that they have left online on Monksland's Facebook page.
Okay.
They did it last week, so I'll have a look again this coming weekend. But yeah, we're rooting for Sarah, so hopefully. All right. Any other business to discuss, man?
I don't think so.
Good.
No, right.
No,
So any plans for the international break? You gonna ask that or not?
No, I was going to say, is there any video evidence of you on the dance floor there on Friday night? No, there's nothing.
Me, there's not. I tell you just a very quick story. So I wouldn't be a big fan of the old dancing, unless I'm about 10 points deep. But as it transpired, it was kind of all grand, and I mean a lot of my friends back at home were just chilling out, chatting, having a few pints. The DJ was nearly finished. And then all of a sudden, it just kicked off. And the last half hour was just, honestly, I don't know how someone wasn't killed. 1 or 2 of my friends actually got pinned with a 3 count on the dance floor. There was people up on shoulders. Someone tried to lift me and they broke their back. One of the lads done this river dance thing across. River dance come on anyway, and all hell broke loose. Like, I mean, the river dance team just come on. And one of the lads went across the stage and he elbowed one of our mates' girlfriend, and that's actually caught on video. He nearly fucking poleaxed and took the head clean off her. And yeah, but it was just absolute carnage for that last half hour on the dance floor. Yeah.
When you said it all kicked off, I thought you were about to say like there was a huge fight at your wedding or something like that.
No. But it just everyone sitting there drinking pints. It's like, oh, let's go to the dance floor, and then like the DJ was like packing up, and then the last 4 or 5 songs, Thunderstruck come on. It was just fucking chaos for the last half hour. Yeah, and there is some video evidence floating around of some of that, which is quite funny. Yeah, good crack.
Good.
Very good, good stuff.
So any plans for the international weekend? Like, what do you do? Like, it's just such a fucking pain in the hole, isn't it? Like,
not a lot. I'm going away next weekend because I mean, just not a lot to be at. I'm not watching Ireland, so
yeah. So, yeah. Might
All right.
tune into the Lichtenstein Luxembourg game.
Yeah.
That'll be
Get a
my
stream for
weekend.
that now in the old box.
Very good. All right, lads. Thank you very much once again. And to all that are listening, please do subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, and you can also follow us on Instagram, Football Fanatic Podcast. Thank you to all who are listening and watching. We're 14 episodes in, and we're getting a lot of views, a lot of listens, great feedback. So long may it continue. We're having a blast, and Kieran will be back with us next week. So we look forward to that. Lads, have a great week.
Cheers.
Cheers, Zach.
Cheers,
Take
Zach.
care.
Have a good one.
All right.
See you,
Cheers, lads.
folks.
Good luck.